Be afraid. Be very afraid.
5309. We were doing that today too. When somebody asked for that phone number, 867-5309. And John gave a great alley oop and said, "No, you got to dial 9 to go out." That was good.
Gotta get the outside line first.
Yeah. All right,
Yeah.
John. What were you gonna say?
So, guys, just as we were starting, I stumbled upon an article with this headline: First Blood prequel, John Rambo in the works from Sisu director.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah,
I like
buddy, we got
everything about that.
the guy Sisu and Rare Exports making a Rambo prequel.
Yeah, that'll work.
That's going to be good.
God.
Just seeing John Rambo in Vietnam and seeing what made him John Rambo, I'm curious.
You know who should play him? What's the kid's name from Whiplash?
Bill Skarsgård.
No, God, no, please no. I hope he plays everybody Rambo kills, actually. Bill Skarsgård clones through the whole movie, just getting mowed down by a 50 cal. No,
It's the entire Skarsgård family.
Anybody know that kid's name? He's a great actor.
I know you're talking about.
I
The one
didn't know who
J.K.
you're talking
Simmons.
about. I can't.
Get him on some steroids. Stat. That's the guy.
That's not Miles Teller, right?
The only Teller I know is the one that works at Penn.
Yeah,
Gillette.
Miles Teller. Miles
Is it
Teller.
really?
Wow,
Yep.
John,
Wow,
you
I
were
can't
something
believe I
else.
just pulled that out.
I mean, if anybody could do
I
it.
just about J.K. Simmons just screaming at him.
Hit it harder.
Not quite my tempo. Not quite my tempo. That sounds awesome. I am
That would
very
be
down
really-
for that.
If they let him do what he does, it would be amazing.
Yeah, it would be. Outstanding. Let's hope they let him do what he does. Plus, they could have moved into this place where, remember when he goes back to Vietnam and like saves the Vietnamese in that weird Rambo movie? I don't
What's
even know
that?
what the
Yeah.
title of that was. That's
Two?
the one where he's literally
That-
blowing people up.
Or
No,
three.
that was like the fourth one. It was
Oh,
like
yes.
Yeah, it was geriatric Stallone.
Oh, that's the
Yeah.
fifth one.
fifth one.
That's
I don't know if it's
geriatric.
I
in
didn't-
Vietnam. He might be in Africa or something.
No, there was definitely one he's in Vietnam with the group of like they're civil rights workers or something, like
It's weird. It's like a weird
Doctors
making
Without
amends.
Borders type of something.
Yeah, he's like, I just want to be a peacemaker. And then
He wasn't
somebody
bringing
does something
peace.
wrong. It's basically the
Yeah.
plot of the Hulk movie. Where he's just like hiding, trying to keep his rage tamped down and doing breathing exercises, and then somebody stubs his toe. 10,000 dead Vietnamese.
And then he eventually turns into Mark Ruffalo. I mean, it all works out.
And he
It all works out.
But that's, shockingly enough, listeners and viewers, this is not an episode about Rambo.
No.
I mean,
Oh.
that's true. It's true. We're actually here to talk about another movie. And it's called 825 Forest Road.
It is in a forest.
It is in a forest.
It is.
I
Part
keep
of
getting
it.
the title
It is.
wrong. Did I get it right?
No, you got
You
it
did.
right.
825
yeah.
Forest Road.
Because I keep saying Forest Lane because of stupid Cloverfield Lane.
No John Goodman. No John Goodman.
What a good
That would-
sleeper this movie was. It wasn't too hard for me to watch this one. I like telling the listeners how I like get it for free-ish. I had to get a trial for AMC Plus through Amazon Prime, which took me a grand total of 45 seconds. It sounds harder than it was. And then I watched the movie, then I canceled the trial. And then I wanted to watch the movie again. So I did something else. I watched parts of it again. But man, what a gem. What a great movie.
Yeah.
It's a hidden gem
Yeah,
of 2025.
Yeah, this is the newest movie we've talked about
Besides Nosferatu.
besides
True.
Nosferatu, but we didn't really do Nosferatu 2024.
That's
No.
true.
We
Good
we
point.
talked around 2024.
Fair point, sir. Fair
Coming
point.
next year.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Skarsgård's porn stash. But now-
Returns.
He's back into the episode, everybody. We can't shake Skarsgård.
We'll have him as
but
a special
yeah.
guest eventually.
Oh God, please no! With all the shit talking I do, Bill, you're
Sweet.
great.
There-
You are. Your brother
There's
sucks ass.
a 0% chance we will ever get a Skarsgård on here with the way we've talked about Skarsgårds.
Let's
True.
make this a challenge in like
It's true.
20 years. In 20
They're like the
years,
Baldwin
we'll have
brothers of
Skarsgård.
our podcast.
Why wait? Why
Really?
wait 20 years?
Filthy.
Let's just start sending them emails now.
Fair.
Yeah, I mean,
So
why not? We
I
might
was
as well get
hoping-
put on a watch list.
We'll start with the least known. Right? We'll start with the least known Skarsgård and work our way up into Bill or Stellan. I don't even know who's more known now.
Probably Bill.
Oh, Eric.
Bill's pretty big. I don't
I
know.
went for less known.
He's
I
not
went
the
for
most
guy from True
muscly.
Blood. No. He's
I mean,
lean.
there's some good Skarsgård performances. They're just so easy to make fun of because there's also such bad ones.
And there's so many of them.
Yeah,
Oh,
fair.
yeah.
They're like freaking cockroach. They're like rabbits. I don't leave this episode. Check it out. Check it out, listeners. This is great. The rabbits have lots to say.
Night of the Skarsgård.
Oh God, jumping over the tracks, getting electrocuted scene would be fun. But no, 8254's lane's nothing like any of those things we talked about. Literally nothing. There's no. I don't believe a single firearm is even shown in the film. It's fantastic. Takes place small town horror kind of thing. Oh, we bought this house. It's got great bones. That kind of thing. And immediate haunting vibes come into play, right, guys?
It starts right off the beginning. The opening scene really starts when it's Ashley and Natalie, and they're talking via like how we do it. We're talking over the computer, and I want to say it's Ashley, and she starts hearing the noises in her house, and you're like, all right, as a viewer, horror viewer, like, all right, this is where it's gonna be like, okay, and then you see the character, I'm forgetting her name, the main villain, standing in the corner.
Helen.
Not Helen Mirren.
Luster.
And
Karen.
not Karen. But seeing her in the corner and then just going from there and the door slamming open, you're in for a ride. And it's fun.
That's a scene that like doesn't really exist 6 years ago. Like pre-pandemic, the video call scenes in anything are like almost non-existent because it was sort of a niche thing. Now everyone does it.
Fair.
It started
it's
with
sort of
Unfriended.
yeah. And Host,
Yep.
that purely Zoom based one. And it really is sort of in the director's wheelhouse. So Stephen Cognetti directed 825 Forest Road, and before this he had only made found footage.
Right.
Yep.
He's responsible for the Hell House LLC franchise, which apparently there's a new one of those coming this summer.
I watched some clips. I don't know if it's from the new one that's about to come out or if it's from 3. I've never seen any of those. That's some scary shit.
It's brutal.
He does a good job with those, yeah.
Yeah, she was downstairs with some clowns, and I don't know why she was kissing them and stuff, but she was. And they turned their heads, and she was not a fan of that. No.
Don't kiss clowns.
Don't kiss the clown
No.
dummies.
Oh.
No.
Nope.
You can see kind of the way some of the camera angles are cut in 825 Forest Road. I almost said lane again. And it lends itself to the found footage style a bit.
Yep.
It almost
Yeah.
feels like parts of this movie are found footage. Not necessarily a bad thing, by the way. But it is a more angular kind of feel to. I mean, Ryan's the film guy too, so maybe you can speak to that. But it's not bad.
He stayed in his wheelhouse, and that's the thing, is like when directors are trying something new, I feel like you have to stick with what you are used to. So utilizing the found footage with linear footage worked out very well because those cuts work with Helen's like movement or like her, I guess, presence throughout the town, because those fast cuts really show like she's everywhere and you don't know where she is, you don't know where she's going to come, and that she can pop out anywhere. And I was thinking about it, and I mentioned this earlier, Ghost Story, the movie from the 80s. It's similar vibe and stuff, but I feel like if they use that like camera angles for Ghost Story, like for a modern retelling, let's say, or a remake, it would do so many wonders for the story.
Is that Peter Straub's ghost story?
Yes, sir. The movie though.
Still, excite, Martin. That's good stuff. Love Straub. Love me some ghost story. I just lent out Floating Dragon to a colleague who read it and was very impressed by it. I was like, yes,
That's
good
what I
work.
was reading that actually on the desk. I was looking at it.
Oh, nice. No, it's
I
one of his
was like,
best.
what is this?
It's probably second to Ghost Story, and then I won't count The Talisman or Black House because that's a collab with him and King. But
Okay.
Straub, if you guys have not read any Straub, get off of your asses and read some Straub. Finish the YouTube video, watch that to completion. Maybe watch another one of ours too. Like and subscribe, and then
Yep.
read some Straub because he's phenomenal. He's the best horror writer that not nearly enough people read.
It's true.
For sure. I'll get off my high horse though. We are going to talk about more books in a little bit and a lesser writer to Straub anyway. But yeah,
Speak
good
about
stuff.
books. I want to ask your opinion on this because I like it when they do this in movies, especially when they did this in Doctor Sleep. How'd you guys feel about like the chapters for each scene or for each character?
It worked in this movie quite well, and there's reasons for that aren't
Mhm.
like book related. John, what's your take?
Yeah, it's not something I usually like, but I did think it worked for this because it really gives you a good insight into the experiences of the three main characters that you wouldn't get otherwise. 'Cause you're not going to be able to fill in three stories at the same time that way and three experiences.
I like it.
That's kind of my take as well. I like the overlap so much as like perspective taking in this movie is what makes me love it.
Mhm.
I only liked it until the chapter 2 came. And then you're like, oh, neat. Okay. We're seeing
Mhm.
the same
Mhm.
scene from her perspective now. And then
Yeah.
getting to kind of see what she thinks about what this dude just said.
Yeah.
I really like that. I liked it a lot. And the movie itself, guys, takes place in a small town that is afflicted by a witch of sorts.
Mhm.
Helen, I suppose. And they've done a very good job, and they could have done more with this in the movie, I believe. They've done a very good job of covering it up and not allowing people to really know about this curse.
Well, what was
Yeah.
that group? Gardener's Gardening?
The gardening club,
Friends of Gardening.
Yeah.
Friends of Gardening.
And they're like the resistance. They get together and talk about the witch,
Mhm.
the Friends of Gardening Club. But essentially, it's been a long period of quiet. The witch hasn't done much. Helen has kind of
No.
been around. People see her, but they don't.
Mhm.
She hasn't been up to no good, so to speak. And it's been a minute, and they haven't put two and two together, which I find silly. But I don't want to give too
Yeah,
much
and
away.
I mean, she seems to start getting more active as people investigate her.
Yeah, and
Yes.
That's what happens at the beginning with Ashley.
Mhm.
She and Natalie are trying to figure out where 825 Forest Road really is because they remapped the whole town at one point. And none of the roads are the
Yep.
same as they were,
awfully
which
They
is,
cut it.
becomes a very significant plot point.
yes,
Yep.
yes, it does.
And honestly, this is probably the time to say it. If you haven't watched 825 Forest Road yet, pause us, go watch it, come back,
Yes.
because we're
Please.
gonna spoil the crap out of this movie
We're gonna
tonight.
say everything right. So from this point on, it's sort of spoiler heavy. 15 minutes in, give or take. So yeah, go watch the movie. Go watch the
It's
movie.
only
Yeah.
See you later.
only an hour and a half. Come on, just do it.
It is a quick watch.
Just to circle back to the chapters for a second, I think the other thing it really helps establish is how these three characters live together. They're related, but they are so separate in this whole thing.
Oh yeah.
It's really not until like the last 10 minutes of the movie that any of these three really work together to solve the mystery and try to put a stop to it. Like up until that point, they're just operating on their own.
You see that in Chuck. He's distant and like he's kind of
Mhm.
going on his own journey. And then his sister Isabel, she kind of starts going on her own journey and that kind of intertwines. But they're also distanced because of their mom and, Chuck leaving the family and she feels like I was with mom and the death is her fault, and there's a
Mhm.
lot of like family drama and trauma going on. And his wife, oh God, what was his wife's
Maria.
name? Maria. She's got her own issues too, and she's trying to be all good, but she's bipolar, and she's trying to work
Mhm.
through that. And like all this is going on, and it's like they're getting pulled at the strings, and it's like just Helen's that cat, just like pulling at the strings and tearing at it,
That
and you
old
see it
trope.
tear apart.
Yeah, it's the old trope where the family that's already fractured is easy to exploit by whatever demon or entity. There was like this
Mhm.
crazy, stupid movie years ago. I think it was on Discovery Channel. It was a haunting style movie, and I remember every time the family argued, like the demon got stronger. Stupid. But it makes sense. And in this, they are fractured. Maria is just focused on like everybody needs to get settled and have a good, healthy time in life. She's really focused on the sister.
Mhm.
And dad, like you said, is totally aloof the entire time. He's like, "Are you taking your medicine?" Then he goes out
Yeah.
and does dad things. And
Yeah.
yeah, it's just they're all very, very much so walking their own paths.
Mhm. So I mean, for them, the first experience that they have that something's not quite right is with Martha the mannequin,
Yes,
who
Martha's a
freaky.
little guys.
mysteriously Martha the mannequin is creepy as hell without being possessed.
So that was where I was gonna get to. I would burn that thing before I would ever allow it in my house.
Oh yeah,
Oh yeah.
no,
It's not even just a
Yeah.
form that somebody would use to make a dress. A normal person would use a form to make a dress, which is scary
Mhm.
enough, a silhouette in the dark
Mhm.
of a
but with a
busty
face.
woman. No.
Mhm.
And hands, creepy long fingers.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah. I just
No.
that whole everything about that mannequin is creepy.
Yep.
She looked
Not a
she
fan.
looked like she looked like Slappy the dummy. I was having goosebumps, PTSD. Like I was like, "Oh,
Mhm.
Slappy, that's great. Why would you want this in here?"
Yeah.
Slappy.
And so they wake up one morning and Chuck finds the mannequin outside the house.
Which is
Yep.
normal. It's fine. Everything's fine.
Yeah, it completely gets
Just
out there on its own. I mean,
getting
It
some
makes a
sun.
and you know, there Maria and Chuck's immediate thought is that it's Isabel playing a prank.
Yep.
Mm.
And it's
You get
also the first time we meet a neighbor in the know.
I was gonna say you get an M. Night Shyamalan style neighbor meeting there where it's like, "Hi, my name is Exposition Dump," and they do that. Um,
It's Larry.
it's
Yeah.
Larry the
Larry.
Exposition Dump, and it is exactly he's like, "Hi, there's been a witch that's a," or he doesn't even say witch directly, but he's
No.
like, "Oh yeah, she's getting active. Does anybody in the house have
Yep.
mental illness?" And they
Yeah,
just like,
yeah.
"I
And
just moved in."
Like plainly.
it's the first big misdirection in the movie
That's true too.
is Isabel depressed? Depressed people are very prone to fall under Helen Foster, and so you spend that time focused on something's gonna happen to Isabel before you
Yes.
get to the fact that Maria is bipolar.
It's true.
Yeah. And then when you do figure out that when they focus a little bit on Maria being bipolar later on, though, you hyper focus because you know what they're doing.
Mhm.
Yeah, I get it.
Yeah,
We're
yeah.
going that way.
Yeah. But Larry gives the full exposition. Well, not the full exposition, but
Pretty close.
yeah. Hey, Chuck, come to our Friends of Gardening meeting.
Friends of Garden. So it's an AA meeting in the town hall, but for Friends of Gardening for PTSD members who've dealt with Helen before.
Mhm.
And she makes a visit to the second meeting,
She
or is it the
does.
first one?
First
It's
one.
the first meeting that Chuck attends.
Yeah, and she shows up. The witch Helen is like in the background,
Mhm.
and they all bounce. They're all like, "All right, later." They all run away.
Yeah.
Well,
Meeting's
Larry
over.
finds her. Larry sees her
We
like
find out the
scurrying across
librarian.
hallway.
Yeah, the librarian is there as well, and then we find
Yeah.
out a little bit more information about the books issue, because
Yeah.
when they go and investigate her in the library, there's a stack of books that are sitting there, and
Mhm.
somebody mentions them, and they go, "Oh, I'll take care of it." and it kind of make it
Mhm.
into a thing like that. It occurs all the time, so it's interesting little Easter, not Easter eggs, but breadcrumbs that they're leading us
Mhm.
along this path,
Yeah.
and you
It's
want to be
also
like,
the library is the first time Chuck really gets a sense that there's something weird in the town
Yep.
when he runs into a dead Ashley, not knowing that she's dead at that point. That comes out a little later.
yeah.
Yeah, that was a good
So
scene. It pushed
Mhm.
it, and it kind of showed like how dangerous this entity can be. Because like even though she was out of it, quote unquote, by just investigating into it, she gives the warning, and she's like, "You're gonna be sorry." And then
Mhm.
I think it's like a day or 2 days later, they're like, Isabella's friend comes over, and he's like, she hung herself, and it's like, oh crap, you know.
Yeah.
So it's like
Yeah.
it just shows how dangerous Helen is and how like she goes into your mind. It's a cool concept. And the thing is that I was reading something about repeating like concepts and just changing it up for this generation. And he did a great job doing that, especially for this movie.
yeah,
Mhm.
I wish this movie was 2 hours and 15 minutes long for more
Yes.
flushing out, giving characters time to
Mhm.
grow into themselves a bit, letting some of the stuff marinate that's happening with the town would have been nice. Even some slow breaks where you get a second chance to breathe while they're go transitioning between ideas would have felt good. But I get why
Yeah.
it's not that. That's
Yeah.
not the case. And for what it is, and the hour and a half runtime, the movie is really good. I can't take much away. I wasn't in love with the ending, but I didn't hate it either. So there's
Mm.
that.
Mhm.
But that transitions us to another side topic I would like to talk about if it's a good time to break for it. Can we talk about Hex?
Ooh, yeah, of course.
Sure.
So
I've been
Hex
waiting for
is
this.
you're waiting for this?
Oh,
Hex
wait.
is a book by a Dutch guy. I don't even have a clue how to pronounce his last name. Thomas Oldvelt. Uh, but was rewritten in
Seems
the
reasonable.
seems right. It's not too bad. Was
It's good.
rewritten to take place also in the United States, and the Hex in that I read is an almost identical storyline to this. It starts though with the family waking up for their day, but the witch is just standing in the living room and they're going
Mhm.
about their day with the witch standing there. Somebody throws a sheet over her and they're just, careful not to touch or push her over or anything like that. And they just do their thing and they leave her alone. And they report that she's there. And that's how you learn that this town has a witch curse. And we find out later on there's all this other stuff that goes on and why the curse is there in the first place and yada yada. Read Hex and you'll find all that out. It's a really good read, but it's got a shit ending and it's such a good story too. If it had a better ending, it would be so good. But yeah, it reminds me of this movie for that reason. It's almost identical storylines.
Mhm. Yeah. Yeah. It did. Sounds like
Yeah, it does.
it's on the shelf. I haven't gotten to it yet, but it's there.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Oh yeah. I bought it a while ago.
I
It's
didn't
been
know.
sitting down there.
Cool. You'll enjoy the read.
I little fact. I buy way more books than I can ever read.
Yep, same. Same.
Yeah.
I'm still reading
I've read
Cujo.
all these ones behind me, but I have been slowing down significantly over the years. I think I'm down to like 4 or 5 a year now.
It's
Same.
sad,
I
isn't
want to
it?
get to that level.
Well, there's not enough time to do everything. Plus, I got the little kids.
Mhm.
That
Yeah.
eats up a lot of my read. If I could come home from work, take a nap, wake up, and be like, I crushed 50 pages, you do that.
Mhm.
Then play video
Yeah.
games and still get to bed before midnight. That'd be nice.
Right.
But I digress. But Hex was
Definitely.
good, and Hex carries. It's like it brings you along in the beginning. You won't want to put it down because it's intriguing. Oh, the realtor can't let this couple move in because we don't think they'll take it. Oh, also, by the way, once you move in, you can't leave because that's part of the curse. Hex is good. It is good until it's not so good. And you guys might like the
Mhm.
ending, by the way. There are people out there that like the ending. I've been down the Reddit rabbit holes. I did not.
I sort of get the feeling from 825 Forest Road that you can't leave the town either.
Yeah, I mean,
It's
Yeah.
it's
not
never explicitly said.
explicitly
Yeah.
said, but it's sort of the impression. Like, Because if you can leave, why are none of these people ever leaving? Like, why is Larry
True.
staying in Ashland Park
Poor Larry.
knowing this? Like, why are you still there, Larry?
Larry loves the
Larry.
drama. Just same reason everybody's around. They love the drama.
Yeah.
Friends of garden. He just wants friends. Just wants the garden.
Guess
But-
we'll go back into the movie.
Yeah. So the first chapter really is it's Chuck's chapter.
Yep.
And you really Chuck is the most independent operating of the three of them. He's doing all this looking into going to friends of gardening meetings, reading books, but he's not really sharing much of the danger that he's discovering that they've stumbled into. You know, he's giving Maria little facts about the town, like they remapped it and renamed all the streets. Isn't that interesting? But he's not telling her that, hey, there's this curse that we're pretty susceptible to.
It's true.
The fact that he doesn't disclose that or collaborate with his family at all is annoying as hell.
Yep.
And
Mhm.
we've kind of did discuss this well before talking about this podcast episode about his character sucking in
Yeah.
that way.
Horrible.
But watching it a second time, I don't think it's that he's a bad person. I think there is an illness within him as well. Like his brain doesn't function right either. You know, he seems like he purposely isolates himself. He seems like he's very analytically focused on a lot of this stuff. Like when they're finally accepting that they're going to have to move, he's like, we're going to have a real hard time selling this place. Like that should not be your prime concern at that point when your wife was just attacked by her mannequin.
Yeah.
On live stream.
Yeah.
That's the best part. And then he doesn't, I don't think he believes her, right? And she's like, she has to cite that she's like, 5 million viewers saw it.
And then
I
they burn
think-
the mannequin.
Yeah. I think he's like, I don't know that he doesn't believe her so much as he doesn't want to believe her.
I think that might be it. It's a good point.
Like, you know, so there's the scene in the art gallery where Maria's with Isabel and Maria's talking about one of her bipolar episodes and how she kind of says Chuck did okay, but he didn't really understand. He wasn't as good as he could have been because he didn't understand. Like you sort of, Chuck doesn't process those things.
Okay, I gotcha.
Yeah.
I gotcha. So that's his deal,
Mhm.
which makes him blind to sort of Helen's nefarious ways until it's too late.
Yeah.
One of the things I enjoy about not him, but enjoy about the like we talked about the chapter stuff earlier, is how they end Isabel's chapter and begin Maria's at that cliffhanger point. By the way, when I was just thinking
Yes.
of that scene, I didn't want to lose it because I'm exhausted. So that cliffhanger scene where Helen comes and presumably is murdering Maria, that's where Isabel's chapter ends, and then Maria's chapter starts there. And only flashes back a little bit. I think it flashes back to the art gallery,
Yes.
if I'm not mistaken. I may be mistaken. And then it starts from there, and it tracks right back up to that scene pretty quickly.
Oh,
I like
actually,
that they did that.
I was going to say, I'm sorry. It doesn't start at the art gallery. It starts where she notices the occurrences, like the dishes stacked, asking her to put them
Mhm.
away. And she is blaming Isabel for this. And like, she just thinks it's weird. And I guess
Right.
she goes along with it and then goes into the art gallery. But to retract, the cliffhanger was excellent because it's like, you don't know where it's going to go. Like, it's going to go back to Maria,
Mhm.
but then you're like, this poor woman's going to die. You're thinking in your head. Like,
Yeah.
you're like, well, we're going to get to this scene soon. And it's like,
Mhm.
it doesn't go down that way, which is good. It's horrific, though. That was
Helen's-
really good CGI.
Yeah, that was okay. Helen's reveal was scarier than I thought it was going to be. And just the kitchen scenes where she's
Yes.
manically calling to Isabel in the kitchen and she
Uh-huh.
basically bitches out
Mhm.
Maria. and then Maria
Yeah.
she hides from her
Yeah.
until it's too late. Yeah, that's pretty cool.
She's mimicking Isabel's dead mother in the kitchen
Yeah,
Yes.
which
and
is neat.
drawing Isabel in while really frantic and disturbed Maria is trying to stop her.
It's pretty good, and you can tell like the lack of taking the meds is affecting Maria in that time too. Then, once the action scene starts and the chase scene goes on and Isabel gets away, Maria gets possessed by Helen, which is pretty
Yeah,
awesome.
why are you running upstairs?
Fair point. Well, they couldn't open the door,
Nope.
so
it was locked.
they didn't. Instead of leaping out of a window like a normal person might,
Like Arnold.
you know.
Arnold Schwarzenegger.
I'm going through the window. I'm going through the window. I'm not going upstairs.
I'd rather slice myself open on the window glass and bleed out in the lawn than go up those stairs. Yep. Accurate.
You can
So
pull a Halloween, go out from the roof, dingle from the rail, go down. It's all right.
then
Mhm.
Maria gets trapped upstairs in the worst place you can be in a horror movie, between the wall and the bed
Yep.
and the monster.
Mhm.
Yep.
Mhm.
Well,
Just
not a good choice.
terrifying. No.
And Chuck and to a lesser extent Isabel have really set Maria up because like she's with the bipolar, she's probably the most susceptible to Helen
Yeah.
and knows the least about any. Like they don't tell her anything.
It's it's a tripole thing. They're like literally the
Mhm.
triangle of ignorance. And nobody trusts anybody. Nobody cares they're kind of working against each other the whole movie. Until the very
Yeah.
end, where Chuck and Isabel sort of get together, and then that goes great. Because they're so used to teamwork, I guess. But Maria gets stupid scene. This is a dumb scene. Maria gets possessed, and then they're doing their realtor review
Oh,
video
I
with the
love
director.
I
I did,
love
yeah.
that scene.
I like that
I
scene.
So
love
dumb.
why I love watching how that part of the end falls apart.
Yeah.
Like, and I mean, listen, you know she's possessed already. You don't maybe know quite how bad off she is or what she is, but the moment she sits to do that testimonial, what's your name? I'm Maria. What's your last name? And she doesn't know her last name anymore.
That was pretty cool. I
That
like
was
that.
good.
I like also how the boyfriend of Isabel, or friend of Isabel, has
Friend.
to stay in the house to look after possessed Maria while she's doing this stupid. If
Right?
those sons of
13 years.
bitches were, I opened the door to go and deal with this, and those bastards were at the door with a camera saying, "It's time to help out your realtor," I'd be like, "Fuck off." I don't know when I agreed to this. I was high. I'm not doing this.
Can we reschedule, please?
No.
And I think that realtor is she's the second biggest villain in this whole movie, right?
She is, because she
Yes.
sold them the goddamn house, and she knew that the guy threw himself off the roof.
Yep.
Mm-hmm. That has to be the least amount of knowledge she had about this, right? Because I mean, she's
Yeah.
presumably from Ashland Park. She has to know some of the Helen Foster story.
Oh, she's definitely a secondary antagonist. So she got what she deserved. think sure.
And she profited greatly off of the home.
Mm-hmm.
Got great
But
balance.
yeah, like Maria doing that testimonial, and then like as she's going along, you realize she's really possessed. She doesn't know who she is anymore. And then she just, instead of a testimonial, she slips into Helen's story.
Yep.
My
And that was
daughter,
good.
my daughter was bullied at school, and nobody did anything about it. And
Right.
I went as far as going to the town council, and they didn't help me.
And they show that painting of her sitting alone with the town
Yeah.
council. I like that.
Mhm.
That was a pretty
good.
cool part.
When-
This movie's
For-
good.
from-
I keep
Yeah.
I keep circling back to it, but the reason why I have to keep circling back to it is because it's wearing like a tube top and it should be in a prom dress. Like this movie could be so much better, you
Mhm.
know, but it's just
I'm-
very fast.
I'm very curious about what the physical release brings and what kind of deleted scenes are there.
That'd be cool.
I
if
would
it was
be
longer.
very curious to see if there's stuff that adds even more. For me, the end works, but the Chuck and Isabel ending is kind of less satisfying. Maria's ending, that part of the final chapter of the movie is fantastic.
Yes.
It's the Chuck and Isabel part that feels rushed.
Yep. Because you feel
And
like there's going to
dumb.
be more.
Just gotta say it,
Mhm.
dumb. Oh, that picture you drew of the hands pulling you into the black void?
Mhm, mhm,
Crazy, it came true.
mhm.
And
Just
she's
Like,
like,
there's
I'm
some
sorry.
there's some good stuff that comes there, like the realization that, oh, we don't need to be looking for 825 Forest Road. That's not Helen's house.
Yep.
That's the bully's family's house.
Yep.
And that's
we
where
should
they
be
live.
looking for we should be
Right.
looking for 15 Rose Lane. That was Helen's house.
That was a
And
good
that's
twist.
the bit, yeah, that's the bit of information that Chuck gives to Maria at the beginning. Oh, did you know we used to be 15 Rose Lane?
Yep. Kind of nice little, like after
Yeah,
watching, you're like, shit. Yeah.
But from that revelation to them both getting pulled into that room at
Yeah,
the end, it's just too rushed.
Yes.
right.
You've got a good deal of suspense built. You've got this revelation, and then it's just over.
Who directed this movie? Martin Scorsese?
Stephen Cognetti.
Or was it Coscarelli?
No. We
Cognetti.
wish.
Stephen Cognetti. You should have done
Cognetti.
better, man. Like, you know better. I don't care what 824 said. Or 8765309 again.
Okay.
But no, seriously, like you had yourself another 20 minutes. Just
Yep.
push it 20 minutes longer and you got yourself a pretty polished diamond on this one.
I would have.
Mhm.
Yep. Kill Chuck. Keep Isabel alive. You know.
Yeah.
And then like.
Maria can also be an honorable sacrifice. Nobody will care. She stopped taking her meds. It's her fault.
Yep.
I don't really have any investment in any of them surviving or any of them dying. I was fine with everybody winding up dead, but I would have been fine with, most of them surviving too. It's
Yeah.
just you needed to do more in that last scene. It needed
yeah.
to be more.
Yeah. That's you know what though?
But
That's an it needed to be more.
Ag-
Much like Hex.
Again, it's a first, really to great degree, a first feature film.
Yeah.
Yes.
You know,
And he
the
did a
found
good job.
footage stuff is different. You don't
Like-
have that exposition in found footage necessarily.
I'm glad you brought us back to that though, because that does lead us to there's abrupt endings in those movies, and this is an abrupt
Yeah.
ending.
Yes.
Yeah,
A rough
like
abrupt ending.
that's my general complaint with them. Like Blair Witch, I loved Blair Witch until the last 5 minutes.
When he's peeing in
I
the
was
corner.
ready.
Yeah.
I was ready to crap my pants.
Yeah.
I was ready to crap my pants with Blair Witch, and then that's how it ended. And it was like,
Yeah.
why is he
I
is he peeing? What is he doing? Why is he in the corner?
I still jumped.
that's
I'm
the
just
end?
saying. I still jumped.
I mean, it was okay, but he could have done so much more there.
Oh yeah. He could have had
Is
in
he-
20 minutes a good fight scene or like something like going back
Yeah.
and forth, or her trying to get back to the house, or her
That would've
trying
been
to
better,
escape,
yeah.
or her trying to escape
Fight
the
scene
town.
for the Blair Witch would have ruined a certain vibe because there was always a defeat was implied.
Oh, I was going
Yeah,
with
you know.
825 Forest Road. I'm sorry. I went
Oh, my
back to
bad.
that. No, Blair
My
Witch.
bad.
Blair Witch was fine. It had to end like that, in my
Yeah,
opinion.
no, better fight
It had to
against
die.
Helen would have been cool. You're right.
Yeah.
Larry, if Larry came out like Leisure Suit Larry style, just came out and started
With-
being like he had sage bombs in his fists and he started,
Larry
knuckle
comes
dust
out
I mean,
like Reggie. Yes, ice cream
Like
suit and
Reggie.
all.
but he's got the receding hairline ponytail
Yes.
at that time too. And he gets distracted by a blonde and then they die anyway.
by the way, to veer us back into Coscarelli fanboy podcast, I
Okay.
finished that short story collection of set in the Phantasm universe. My goodness, guys. Like, he catches every minor character that you could think about is fleshed out in there. You get a Tim
cool.
story.
Okay.
You get Rocky and Tanisha.
Cool.
You get
I was like
50
Rambo-
pages of a
Rambo
chunk
number 5.
story, which is like They just filling out a story for Chunk, and so you understand where he comes from. It's
Cool.
just so good. And then a Reggie backstory with his
Of
time in
course.
Vietnam, and
Reggie's time in
gen-
Vietnam is exactly what I
the
don't
gen-
need.
Giving
you
out ice
do,
cream
because it gives you
cones.
I'm gonna
so much.
save you, Ling Ming.
It gives you
Coming back to the United
the
States with me.
genesis. It's the genesis of the quad barrel.
Oh, okay, never mind.
Okay.
It's the beginning of his horn dog.
Quailing does
You
come.
start to see.
If they like
What's
show
that?
Reggie going through puberty.
No, like Reggie has an affinity for Vietnamese
They were gonna say another word that starts with a V.
women of the night.
Yeah. No, see, but that's exactly what I thought it was gonna be. Like a short story that's
Mhm.
just him with hookers. It's
Mhm.
basically
Well,
what
that's where
would
it
be.
starts. It's
Yeah.
definitely where it starts. It starts with Reggie sneaking off base to go to a whorehouse.
Yeah. And then it's
Dear
just a tall
Jody.
man, but we didn't know.
Yes.
But all right. So we get to the end of the movie, and yeah, we all kind of feel like it could have ended a little bit better. But for the most part, A minus or B plus, as far as
Yeah,
we don't have an official rating scale, but
Oh, if we're
that's
doing
where
it
is.
tonight, B plus. I'll
Yeah,
say
B plus would probably be better.
yeah. This is a good B plus movie. Like it's definitely worth the watch. It's definitely got a
Yes.
lot of the good creepy vibe to it that you want.
Yeah.
Yep.
Agreed. But yeah, like I said, easy watch. Don't have to spend a lot of money.
Mhm.
AMC
Nope.
Plus is how I did it. It's free on Shutter as well, but I
Yep.
couldn't get it on that. I don't know why.
Okay.
And yeah,
That's happened to me with
Oh,
what do you call it? Just to go back, that happened to me with Dead Snow. I couldn't watch it on Shutter, and it was
interesting.
on Shutter. So
Might be a
just saying.
VPN issue. Actually, I didn't think of that, but maybe that's what it was on my end. But
mhm.
yeah,
And I
watch
mean
it.
it
Well, actually, you should have watched it. We
the
just spoiled
physical, I believe, is the end of June.
it. Okay, physical's coming out at the end of June.
Yeah.
Okay.
So you're
So
talking about my
really,
physical.
by the time you listen to this, it's gonna be pretty close to available.
And definitely
Oh,
buy the
fair.
DVD. Buy it.
I
Blu-ray
listen.
4K.
I'll
Buy it.
I'll get up on my soapbox right now. Support
Preach.
physical media.
Yes. Preach, brother.
Like one of the things that has come up when in doing this is the availability of things on streaming.
Yeah.
You don't have to worry about it if you bought it.
Yep.
I know it's expensive. It takes up space. But
It's beautiful.
I mean, if you love film, support physical.
Fair.
And there's
A
a lot
fair
of
suggestion.
and there's a lot of places you can go to. Vinegar Syndrome. You want classics, Criterion
Mhm.
Collection, just
Mhm.
buy, collect. It's fun. And even if you get the old ones with a little flip and click, I mean, come on now.
Yeah.
And little clickies break in the middle, and then they slide all over the thing, and you got to worry about them getting
Mhm.
scratched. But
That's
then
my
you use the
Robin Hood
manual.
copy right now.
Yep. I was gonna say. But yeah, guys, that was 825 Forest Road, not Lane. And we're gonna jump into our top fives, and we're gonna keep them brief tonight because Martin's one eye is a little bit closed because he's super tired, super tired. So let's get after it, Mr. Ryan. What's our top five list tonight?
So I went with, shocker, Supernatural, but supernatural things that like kind of take over like a house, places, anything. And I think you guys are going to like this list. And yeah, I've seen all these movies, just to say. No controversy. I've seen them all. And we're going to start off with one of my favorites in this film series, Paranormal Activity 3.
Oh,
It's
nice.
the prequel.
Found
I
footage.
I saw it in theaters. I actually made the whole theater laugh. We went to a midnight opening in Poughkeepsie Galleria.
Oh wait, this was the
And
Rosemary's Baby one.
this is the one where it's Katie and Christy, and they're younger, and they're in the house, and it's how it started. And
Yeah,
they're
it's the Rosemary's Baby one.
I
The cult
Yeah.
at the end.
yes, I
Yeah.
loved it, and I made the whole audience laugh when they opened the cellar door, and everyone was quiet, and I was like, "Don't go down
No,
there,"
it was-
and I
this
got
one's good.
everyone to crack. But I enjoyed it. Again, midnight openings when they still did that. It was just a good vibe, and that theater was packed. and you can hear a pin drop because it was so tense. Now, talk about tense. My number 4, I went with Insidious. That
I like
movie,
this.
yeah, that scared
I
the
like
shit out
this
of me.
list very much so far.
And Insidious scared the shit out of me to the point where my parents went out of town, and I decided to watch it. And
Can I
my
say a
parents,
joke first?
yeah, you can
That's
go
a
ahead.
lot of shit
Oh,
to make him go out of town like that.
listen, we live by a cemetery, and it
I'm a
was not a
dad. I
good
can do it.
idea. It was not a good idea to watch it.
You
Nope.
get scared.
I that there's the house is haunted, I believe, and yeah, I made sure the door was locked. I didn't go out for a cigarette that night. That's all I'm gonna say. That's all I'm gonna
Mm.
say. Even the dog left me. I was like, what the hell? You're supposed to protect me. No, she left me. But number 3, we've talked about this in earlier episodes. And that's Hereditary. I do enjoy it. It's the modern they say it's the modern day Exorcist. Yep, the head cutting scene. I don't think it's the modern day Exorcist, but it does have thrills and
You mean
the
Rosemary's
head
Baby?
well, yeah, part
Your
2
second
basically.
Rosemary's Baby of the list?
I I love it. I mean, I Dahmer's
You know what I
better.
like about these two Rosemary's Babies? They're different than the original Rosemary's Baby.
Very much different. There's a little more pace to it, I feel.
We do have to
Rose
say that paying homage to a great movie through mimicry isn't a bad thing.
no.
But they do have very heavy similarities to Rosemary's Baby. Both of those ending scenes.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, and, well, I don't believe number 2 is gonna be similar to Rosemary's Baby, but I am gonna plug that the final film in the series is coming out this year, and I can't wait, and that's The Conjuring. I
I'm over
I
it.
love Oh,
Sorry.
really?
Yeah,
Yeah,
Did you
they've
I'm
you
kind of
guys
conjured
over The
enough
Conjuring
money out of
also.
that franchise.
They
Oh,
could,
Everything from Conjuring. That's the Annabelle.
yep, The
Mhm.
Nun,
That's all of those, right? The
Curse
Nun.
of
The
Lila Lorna.
Nun, yeah.
I watched one of the more recent ones and it was decent. Which was the one with the couple that goes around solving all the mysteries. Is that
The
the same? The
Yeah, that's The
Warrens movie.
Conjuring. Yeah.
Warrens,
Yeah,
yeah.
they've got to have 10 films in that franchise now.
Well, for the main
They-
series,
Close.
it's
Yeah.
I think it's the 4, like,
Insidious.
are the main. Oh,
So
Insidious,
Insidious was
yes.
good. And Insidious has the guy from the Warrens in it.
Yep,
Watch Dogs, that guy. Or not Watch Dogs. Watchmen. He plays
yep,
the owl dude. He's in
Owlman.
it. He does a great job. Insidious is better. Sinister was really good too. It came out around the
Yes.
same time as Insidious. But the Insidious movies were better, in my opinion,
Oh, yeah,
than
this
the Conjuring films.
I mean, I feel like they're different in their own ways. They're 2 different style horrors. Like, the Conjuring films, it's
Mhm.
like you watch it, you get scared that one time, but then when you watch it again, you can look at it at a different view. Maybe as like it's a horror film, but maybe like biographical because it's their true recordings, so to say, from it. So that's how I take it from there. Insidious is always going to be a straight horror film, especially the second one, The Black Bride. Yeah, no, no, no.
I feel like the Conjurings are like first viewing, they have some creepiness, and after that, you sink more into camp almost.
Okay,
Like you
fair.
can
I
you
know
can
why.
sit around with your buddies and make fun of it the whole time.
And I don't
Are we?
even feel like I'd want to do it with those movies. I'd choose more authentic camp for my buddy time
Mhm.
than The Conjuring because it was made to be camp. That's the way I feel too.
Yeah.
But I also don't want to pee in Ryan's Cheerios, and
No,
No,
like
I
it's
like
I
that
think
you
the
enjoy
Conjuring
them.
movie,
Yeah,
I haven't seen all of the Conjurings. I fell off them somewhere along the way. Like I haven't
yeah.
seen either of the Nun movies. I don't think I saw the
Mm.
last Annabelle.
You know,
But
the
like the
first
ones I
Annabelle
watched were fine. They were fine.
It's fine.
I mean, I just stuck with The Conjuring, so I've seen 1, 2, I've seen 3. I don't know, I'm excited to see the 4th one because I wanna see, like, what made them stop or supposedly what made them stop.
They stopped making
But
money.
okay, fair, especially after they oh, let me not get into it.
God damn it,
I'll
Kurt.
I'll be, like,
What's
haunted
number one?
I
tonight.
mean,
What's number one?
I think the other thing that sort of killed that franchise for me is learning more about the Warrens.
Yeah.
and just how huckstery they were.
Yeah, they were friggin' charlatans.
Yeah.
1000%. But
Yeah.
anywho, what's number one? What's
Number
number
one?
one?
It's, man, Stanley Kubrick, The Shining. I had a, you know, the thing is
What's your
if you
theme
really
again?
supernatural. Those
Supernatural.
those are ghosts, all right? We can.
No, I mean
Those
you
are all
can't
ghosts,
go wrong with The Shining for
and
supernatural. For some reason, I forgot because of my brain damage. But yeah,
just I just love that movie since I was a kid. I feel like I got with my uncles. You know, you get my Uncle Joe who always showed me the classic horror, and then my Uncle Sal did like a little like modern during the '90s and like the horror and the gore. And my Uncle Joe was like, you know, you want to really see horror? We're gonna watch The Shining. That's real horror, and it was on TV, commercials and all,
it is.
and it was cut up, and it's still it still scares the shit out of you. TV version.
Yeah.
And then when you see the actual version, it's like, what was that bear doing with that man in that scene? Like, it's like, it's, you know,
Horror
but,
business.
but it's a great supernatural film. And I'll say this, and I'll make you guys think about this too. At the end, when he becomes a part of the house, was he always a part of the house?
Jack?
Jack.
Well, not Jack.
Well,
what's-
Johnny.
just yeah, Johnny. No, well, that they do. The thing with the Outlook is that they tend to do the cycle of time as a wheel, kind of like Ka in the Dark Tower series. That's how that works, and that would make it a paradox in that it has no beginning and no end. So yeah, if you're part of it, you're always a part of it. Blah, 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 blah. But no, they went to the house. They went to the hotel, I mean, and they became absorbed by the evil. He did specifically. And it's not just a metaphor for Stephen King's alcoholism almost ripping apart his family. It's totally not that. It's just a supernatural hotel. Hey John, you have a top 5 list too. We should try to talk
Hey,
about
I
that.
do.
Yeah, let's do
Hey,
top
I
5.
do,
That was
but
really good one, Ryan.
Before
I want to hear
I go
John.
into my top 5, I want to plug Kearns for a second. By the time
and
you
everybody
listen to
else.
this, by the time you listen
Oh.
to this, there will be a short story collection available that you should go and buy called Kinder. Buy it.
Ooh, I like the font. Cover
Buy it.
design by Roderick Bryden, everybody.
Buy it.
Thank you guys. It's a short little guy. It's only 154 pages, 9 stories, and I do something a little fun with it that's not normal. I think people will enjoy it if you pick up on it. You have to pick up on it if you read it cover to cover.
Oh,
Can't
yes,
miss
you
it.
do. Angler. Highly recommend the Angler. Love the Angler.
I like the Angler too. The Angler was fun to write. But yeah, it was. I wanted to get into real horror because I write dark fantasy for my series, and this is
Oh, yeah.
bleak. This
I've
is
been waiting
bleak
for
horror.
this. I've been waiting for you to write this for a while. I was excited.
It's for you, Ryan.
Once,
I did it
well,
for
once
you.
once you said, you know, it was connected to Beneath
It's
the
all
Veil.
for you, Ryan.
Always,
It's always,
always,
for
gentlemen.
you, Ryan.
always. I feel like King
Word.
Tut from Batman now. Victor
There we
Bruno.
go.
Dance.
Every time you say a book title, I'm just gonna start showing them.
Dance of
Here's
Akira.
the third one. Yeah, I gotta get a cure.
Akira. Where's
There you go. Let me get them in order. But yeah, so one of the things that occurs in the series is Lilith's children are unleashed upon the world, and I didn't get a chance in the series to flush out what that's like, dealing with her demonic children. And I also interweave the monsters of myth and whatnot into being her kids.
Yes.
So I got a chance to do that
Which
in the short
works.
story collection. I wish that I'd written 45 stories to put in that collection, but I'll keep doing them over time. and
Volume
maybe
2.
do a second. Yep. I was thinking the same. That's why Ryan's going to be my agent.
You can
But
call it
yeah, man.
Kinders. Kinders.
Volume 2, Kinderer.
Kinder. Kinderer. But thank you guys for pausing us long enough to plug the work. I appreciate it. Pre-orders jumped up
Absolutely.
nicely. And yeah, thank you for bringing my proofreaders too. Well, my ARC readers. Oh,
I'm
much
ready.
appreciated. Let's do John's top 5.
All right. So I went with 5 creepy mannequins.
I thought you were going to say
Yes.
creepy men.
Yes.
There's way more than 5.
Don't go with 5 of them. My God.
I can't. There's no way I could pare that list down to 5.
All right, let's go on.
So-
Ryan,
So for number 5, I took the Ryan route
yeah,
and put on a movie I haven't watched yet that's on my watch list.
it's illegal.
I know. It feels like a sin, but it fits pretty well. The movie's called Slacks.
Never heard of it.
Oh, it's not-
SLAXX.
I've heard of that.
So in Slacks, a possessed pair of blue jeans
CKS.
uses a mannequin to move and torment the employees of a clothing store. Libby must find a way to stop the jeans. So you kill her blue jeans on a mannequin, and it's, that has to be awesome.
I mean, yeah.
I'm just.
Yeah.
That's going on the list.
I can't. Yeah, I don't know if I can live the rest of my life without watching that movie now.
Right?
Like Hacks.
Feel like it's got a theme
Right.
song.
How many more
Slacks.
mannequin-based horror movies can there be?
I have at least 4. Well,
Yeah.
technically 5, but
Yeah.
my number 4, they're not all based. Some of them are just an appearance of a mannequin or the way they use mannequins, and that's the case of number 4. I Know What You Did Last Summer.
Oh yeah, that's right.
Mm-hmm.
Right? And so you get that one scene where Helen is sneaking through a store with a bunch of mannequins, but one of them's not a mannequin.
That's pretty cool. I forgot about that.
I'm not
That was
gonna,
a long time
I won't
ago.
go too deep into I Know What You Did Last Summer because it's on the schedule. We're definitely doing it within the next couple months.
I can't wait. Can't wait. Love, I Know What You Did Last Summer.
Yeah. Which will roll right into my number 3. Tourist Trap.
Yep, I love that movie too.
So a group of friends come across a roadside museum only to be stalked by the owner, who can use his telekinetic powers to control the mannequins
It's so good.
and possibly turn people into mannequins.
Oh, I think he can.
Okay.
Oh yeah. And that's with Western legend Chuck Connors,
Yep.
which is pretty awesome.
Western Legend.
My number 2, there's a remake which I don't recommend. But my number 2 is House of Wax from 1953 with
Oh,
Vincent
fair.
Price.
Okay.
Thank you.
Yeah. No
Paris
Paris
Hilton did
Hilton.
that, right?
Yep.
Yeah. Gonna
Paris
say,
Hilton's
burn
in it. So the remake came out in 2005 with Paris Hilton, and the tagline at the time was kind of a draw and now feels a little gross. It was on May 6th, see Paris die.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But
Which
It's
did,
a little.
Kind of
I-
funny. It was right
did-
after her sex
Mhm.
tape dropped too.
did we all watch
Yep.
it to see her
It was-
die though? Because I did.
I
I'm
didn't see.
sorry.
I had the hot box,
I mean,
and I
I-
refused to watch it when it was free streaming on pay-per-view.
I
And-
watched it,
remember that.
but I don't think I
Yeah.
watched it for that reason. Like,
Yeah.
the Paris Hilton phenomenon was something that sort of missed me mostly because I didn't ever
Ah.
consume any of that stuff.
Yeah.
What was their show at
That makes
her
sense.
friend?
Nicole or Richie, whatever her name was.
Nicole
Oh,
Richie,
yeah.
yeah. Lionel's kid.
God, their stupid name of the show though. But yeah, we don't even want to bring. We don't want
Simple
to say
Life.
That simple.
Why do I
Yep.
remember these things?
On Fox?
it.
God.
Lived on a farm.
You got rid of Greg the
Yeah.
Bunny for that bullshit.
All right, so House of Wax. I'm curious if number one's not a horror movie. Well, the one I'm thinking of with the very notable mannequin scene isn't a horror movie, but kind of is. I'm curious if it's going to be your number one.
Well, I know.
So my number 1 is is 2. It's a movie and it's remake. It's the rare remake I really like.
Yep.
Maniac.
Okay.
Yes. There's a lot of
I
mannequins in
So-
that.
Get that right.
Mm-hmm. Deranged serial killer is using mannequins to display the trophies he's taken from his victims.
Mm.
Mm-hmm.
But eventually, those mannequins sort of help him fall further into madness.
Yes.
And so the original is like late 70s, early 80s, grimy, gritty New York City with Joe Spinell, who's like,
Mhm.
you know, perfect sleazeball killer kind of guy. Like, it's a role he was born to play.
He looks like a
And then
rundown.
you remake it.
I was gonna say he looks like a rundown Ron Jeremy before Ron Jeremy became rundown.
Yeah, I was gonna say
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
the
Like,
rundown
and
meter.
He did. He definitely could have played Ron Jeremy in a biopic.
Yes.
You know what scene I was thinking
And-
of though? Before you go on, I Am Legend.
Mhm.
The
Yeah.
the mannequins in I Am Legend came to mind.
Mhm.
I was like, oh, there'd
Yes.
probably
Yeah.
be like 3 or 2. No,
Mhm.
didn't make the cut.
So then you get the 2012 remake with Elijah Wood, which he's very effective as sort of a psycho killer in that way. Like he's got the mannerisms and the affect and all that. He's really good. And you swap the grimy New York City for this sort of glitzy, empty LA, and it works.
Yeah, it does.
So yeah,
And-
number 1 is shared by Maniacs.
Yeah.
Real quick, I want to say kudos for House of Wax, Vincent Price, and just like we've mentioned Vincent Price a couple times. I feel like we all love Vincent Price. Shout out and watch a Vincent Price movie, ladies and gentlemen. House of Wax, Last Man on Earth. Watch that man. It's just he doesn't get a
Yeah.
lot of kudos nowadays. I'm sorry. Besides Thriller.
Fly.
Yep, The Fly.
Yeah. I
Yep.
mean, I want to get sued, but our intro.
Be afraid. Be very
Be
afraid.
very
Mhm.
afraid. That's how we'll end this week, guys. All right. We'll see you next week for another episode. And because I don't remember what we're doing it on. And yeah, stay sleazy.
Have a good one, guys.
See ya.